So Rishi Sunak is the new Prime Minister of this country, and I think it's a dark day indeed, not just for Britain, but for British politics. Because this man, Rishi Sunak, should not be where he is right now. I absolutely think that him holding that office and occupying that house is an affront to what we stand for here in the United Kingdom. The guy literally backstabbed Boris Johnson when he was Chancellor to get him to quit and expected to be voted in by the Tory members as the next Prime Minister, but it didn't quite work out. And yet here he is, and he is one dodgy, shady son of a bitch. Now, the last time I got angry over politics, and I'm quite angry now, over this bought and paid for politician whose only interests would be lobbyists, pressure groups, bankers and the financial sector. He wouldn't give a flying fuck about the people of this country. The richest man in British politics in Parliament has the poorest constituency. That should tell you everything. So I'm pretty angry over this WEF puppet, basically, who has virtually been installed into number 10 like a toilet. And the last time I was this angry was when Gordon Brown got himself installed as Prime Minister as well. Now, the lefties on social media, they're all going on about the fact that Rishi Sunak wasn't voted in, and that's the system we have currently. I hate it. There should be a general election. There should have been one when Boris Johnson got the Tory leadership before he had the landslide election victory. And there should have been one when Liz Truss got the same thing. I'm not entirely happy with less than 1% of the population who happen to be members of a political club deciding who our next leader is. I think it's wrong. But the lefties won't mention Gordon Brown, who made a backroom deal with Tony Blair, the Prime Minister at the time, to make himself Prime Minister. Nobody wanted him, nobody voted him in, and he was completely unsuitable for the job. He was a shit Prime Minister. He got caught on a microphone calling a voter, an elderly lady, a bigot, simply because she had valid concerns about immigration. And thankfully, that helped bring him down. But he messed up in so many ways. He couldn't talk to his staff. He had no social skills. He had no people skills. He sold the United Kingdom's gold reserves at a rock-bottom price, merely days before the price for gold shot up. It rocketed. He then screwed up people's pensions. But the most damning of all for me, when Gordon Brown personally instructed the authorities in Rotherham not to get involved with the grooming gang scandal, because he's quoted as saying that the victims, the little girls, made an informed choice. I mean, how disgusting is that? There is your champagne socialist, ladies and gentlemen. And Rishi Sunak is just as dodgy. A socialist Chancellor of the Exchequer masquerading as a Conservative Tory, implementing socialist policies. The man holds 2 country citizenships, the United States with a green card, Britain obviously, and potentially a third with India. When he was Chancellor of the Exchequer, he fixed it for him and his multi-millionaire wife to pay little or no tax, and he is completely out of touch with normal working class people. Now, I think the best thing that could happen in order to remedy this is for him to call for a general election, and a general election now with him at the helm of the Tories would completely sink them. It would destroy them, and Labour, I now believe, will win by a landslide. And I believe it will take a Labour government, a disastrous Marxist Labour government, to completely screw this country even more. Now, if you think things can't get any worse, imagine Sir Keir Starmer, Angela Rayner, Tory scum at the helm of this country. My goodness, you ain't seen nothing yet. But that's probably what needs to happen. A harsh medicine, because the patient requires it. Which would mean real Conservatives would step up. Perhaps maybe Nigel Farage could get his ass into gear and unite right-wing, real Conservative parties, patriotic parties, parties who give a shit about the people, cultures, languages, the history of this great island, and end the status quo held by the top two parties, the Conservatives and the Labour Party, at the top of British politics, which they've held for which seems forever. It's a vicious circle and a vicious circle that needs to be stopped dead in its tracks. So there we go. That's what I think. Rishi Sunak may be an installed Prime Minister in Downing Street. He's certainly not a Conservative. He's not my Prime Minister. He's already told us all that he's going to raise taxes significantly. I mean, at a time like now, with the cost of living crisis, that is just an obscene, heartless policy and very unconservative, because the Conservatives were never a party of raising taxes. And the fact that he is also the wealthiest politician in Parliament who presided over the poorest constituency, that should tell you everything. And also, what does it tell you when a multi-millionaire like him, married to a multi-millionairess, wants a career as a politician and to be Prime Minister on a salary which is less than a fraction of what he's worth? So yet another reason to suspect that something fishy is going on with Rishi. And also, listening to the conversations on the radio today, there were literally scores of angry phone calls by people who simply don't want him to be Prime Minister. They smell something's off. And there were even Conservative Party members ringing up to tell the talk show hosts that they were no longer party members. And so, for the 1922 committee and the Conservative Party as a whole to not even notice this, it's just the party's finished. The next election, they are wiped out by Labour. And you can take that to the bank. Right, that's it. That's my video. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until the next time, look after yourselves. Have a great day. And Roger Trout.